Nazi scientists knew that there were certain things, chemicals, that they could put in food and water and medication to dumb down the brain, damage the body, make the person weaker so that they could be more controllable. Things like fluoride, chlorine in the water, mercury and aluminum in your food. All these things, when you ingest them, basically create heavy metal toxins in your body. And after a while, you become like a walking antenna. You become almost metallic. You pick up the ELF and microwave signals and scalar waves that are transmitted from satellites and cell phone towers, etc., so that you're constantly available for programming 24/7.
This is the book of Habakkuk chapter 2 and verse 4. And it reads, "Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him." Okay, there's not a righteous thought in this man's mind. There's not a righteous bone in this Edomite's body. It says, "Behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." Verse 5, it says, "Yea, also, because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell." Okay, this is truly hell on earth underneath this devil. Okay, it says, "Who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people." All right, Shalom. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring. The house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers. Shalom to the elect. I'm back at you with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit, the Rakakwadash. Jumping straight into this article. This is from theguardian.com. This came out May 7th, 2023. And the title, it reads, "U.S. food pesticides contaminated with toxic forever chemicals, testing finds." Okay, and these chemicals literally stay in your body forever. Okay, which we already know. It says PFAs are present at, quote, "potentially dangerous levels in widely used chemicals sprayed on food crops destined for Americans' plates." Okay, so in this lesson, I just wanted to highlight how this Edomite is truly the devil that the Bible speaks of. Okay, he is the harbinger of death. All right, he is the son of perdition, pursuing the 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. And what influenced this lesson, I was watching a camp speaking from the apostles, and Elder Apostle Gabar had made a statement going into where plastic came from. Okay, when you go into plastic, or when you look up where plastic came from, it goes back to the DuPont family. Okay, going back to the international banking families that control the world. Okay, plastic came from the DuPont family. Okay, and I got a few videos here that I got queued up just to make that point. But this man is the goddamn devil, and this is truly hell on earth, as I was saying, because as you heard in the intro, when you ingest these chemicals, they damage the brain, they dumb down the body, and they make people weaker. And this is why everybody's dying. All right, there's been an explosion of cancer, health issues, sickness, and it all goes back to this stuff, this forever chemicals, the plastic, the toxins that's in the air, food, and water supply. Okay, so jumping down a little bit. Okay, it says the Environmental Protection Agency has previously been silent on PFAS in food pesticides, and even as it found the chemicals in non-food crop products. All right, so these chemicals and toxins are everywhere. There's no escaping it. Okay, it says the potential for millions of acres of contaminated food cropland demands swifter and stronger regulatory action, the paper's authors say. Okay, it says, I can't imagine anything that could make these products any more dangerous than they already are. But apparently my imagination isn't big enough, said Nathan Donnelly, Environmental Health Science Director at the Center for Biological Diversity, CBD, which co-authored the study. It says, quote, the EPA has to take control of this situation and remove pesticide products that are contaminated with these extremely dangerous, persistent chemicals, all right, which is everywhere. All right, let's add some more. All right, this came out last year as well, same news article. But it says chemical giants hid dangers of forever chemicals in food packaging, right? It says the chemicals called 6,2-FTOH are now linked to a range of serious health issues, and Americans are still being exposed to them. All right, let me get a quick scripture. All right. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 10, and it reads, it says, arise ye and depart. And this is talking to you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, and Hispanics. All right. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest. America, Babylon the Great, was not set up to be your rest, to be your comfort, for you to succeed. All right. This place was set up to be our hell, our captivity. Okay. This place, this land is not your rest because it is polluted. Okay. It's defiled. And we're going to further get into that because the Lord also said in the scriptures that, you know, that we would eat our bread defiled amongst the Gentiles. Okay. We would pretty much eat poison and live, you know. It says, because it is polluted, it shall destroy you, even with a sore destruction. And we're going to get into that some more. All right, let's go back. So it says chemical giants DuPont. All right, which I'm going to play the video in a second. All right, but it says chemical giants DuPont and Daikin knew the dangers of PFAS, of a PFAS compound widely used in food packaging since 2010. All right, it was probably beyond that. It says, but hid them from the public and hid them from the public and the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, company study obtained by The Guardian revealed. The chemicals called 6,2-FTOH are now linked to a range of serious health issues, and Americans are still being exposed to them in grease-proof pizza boxes, carry-out containers, fast food wrappers, and paperboard packaging. So everything that the food is, you know, wrapped up in, the plastic, the packaging, it all contains these chemicals which are absorbed in the food and eventually, you know, absorbed in the body, which is destroying people, man. All right. And this is all by design. This has all been done intentionally. Right. It says the companies initially told the FDA that the compounds were safer and less likely to accumulate in humans, the older types of PFAs, also known as, quote, forever chemicals, and submitted internal studies to support that claim. So this man is the devil. He's a liar. You know, it says, but Daikin withheld a study, but Daikin withheld a 2009 study that indicated toxicity to lab rats, livers, and kidneys. It says, while DuPont in 2012 did not alert the FDA or public to new internal data that indicated that the chemical stays in animals' bodies much longer than initially thought. Right? Matter of fact, let me get that scripture, man. Right? Job 13:4. And it reads, it says, but you are forgers of lies. Okay, the Edomite. But you are forgers of lies. You are all physicians of no value. And that's why I did a lesson going into how pretty much, you know, the earth is in dire need of new management. All right. This devil, this Edomite is an unfit ruler. All right. It says science from the industry, the FDA and independent researchers now links 6,2-FTOH to kidney disease, liver damage, cancer, neurological damage, developmental problems, and autoimmune disorders, while researchers also found higher mortality rates among young animals and mothers exposed to the chemicals. You see? Finishing it out here, it says, had the FDA seen the data, it is unlikely that it would have approved 6,2-FTOH, said Marcel Maffini, an independent researcher who studies PFAs in food packaging. All right. So even if that was the case, all right, they would have still allowed this to happen because this is the devil. All right. And this all really goes back to their plans of depopulation. You know, it says, and though Dakin may have broken the law, it and DuPont, which has previously been caught hiding studies that suggest toxicity in PFAs, are not facing any repercussions, right? Because the scriptures say that he's not in trouble as other men. Matter of fact, let's get that too. All right, because basically these Edomites, they have immunity, right? This is Psalm 73 verse 5. It says, they are not in trouble as other men, neither are they plagued like other men. This is talking about the Edomites, man. All right, they're immune to their crimes. You know, this devil, you know, these devils at DuPont, all right, they got away with poisoning millions of people, man. All right, with these chemicals that's in the food, water, and air, and the plastics, everything, man. Right? And let's make a point, because as we get closer to the end, you know, as Yahweh Shai said, you know, he would speed up the days for the very elect, man, because if he didn't, no flesh shall be saved. Right? Let's make that point.
You've heard of plant-based protein powder, but what if the next alternative was made out of plastic? There's new research that could make it a reality.
All right, Stacey Delcat talked to a scientist about the process that could help fight hunger and pollution.
Food shortages are worsening around the world, and the plastic pollution crisis continues to intensify. What if there was one solution to both of these problems? A Michigan scientist thinks there could be.
What we're trying to do is to use microbes to take plastic and other inedible plant material and turn that into something that's nutritious.
The idea is to turn components of plastic into protein and other nutrients like fats and sugars.
Man, that's the devil, man. All right, turning plastic into protein. Let me get this real quick, because he's literally destroying the earth and the inhabitants. All right, Isaiah 24 and verse 4, straight to the point. It says, the earth mourneth and fadeth away. The world languisheth and fadeth away. All right, the world is fading away. It's weak. It's dying. Right? It says, the haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. Going back to what? The people that control the earth, that control the world. All right, the Edomites, starting with the elite, the banking elite families, they have defiled the planet Earth. Right? It says the earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant. And this is why the earth is in this condition. Right now, he's pushing to try to turn plastic into protein to eat it. You know, it's all in your food. It's all in the water supply and the food supply. So there's no getting away from this stuff, whether you eat organic or not. Okay. Every way about this place is death. All right. As we read in Micah 2 and 10. All right. This place is defiled, and it would destroy you even with a sword of destruction. So going to the point. All right. The plastics, as the elder Apostle Gabar was mentioning, goes back to the DuPont family. So let's play a little bit of this just to show you how diabolical this Edomite is, you know. DuPont, the most evil business in the world. So let's play a little bit.
So you're DuPont in the late 1930s. You're a chemical company that's been around for more than 100 years. Any company that's existed for that amount of time should have made a name for itself ages ago. But even though you're doing well, you just haven't really popped off yet. That was until 1938, when a doctor accidentally discovers a material called Teflon that's so versatile, so useful, so unbelievable that it changes the course of DuPont forever. You know Teflon, the stuff used in non-stick pans.
Well, good thing it's Teflon.
Made with a chemical called C8, Teflon revolutionized the cooking industry for people all over the world.
They won't stick! That's why it's called non-stick! I don't know what non-stick Plastic means it takes it, sweetheart, but me!
And Teflon and C8 went on to be used in a ton of other consumer goods. Popcorn bags, waterproof jackets, dental floss, food containers, makeup, pizza boxes, all has some form of C8 or C8 derivatives in them. The only problem was C8 and most of the chemicals like it are extremely toxic and are what's known as forever chemicals because they never break down. But what the public doesn't know, they'll keep buying, so we'll just keep this between us.
Now that's cooking.
So C8 became widely used in a bunch of products that come in contact with people's food. And making C8 takes a lot of work. A lot of work that produces a lot of chemical waste that we have to get rid of somewhere. So why not dump it in the waterways around our factories? I mean, come on, you're not gonna pay for expensive, responsible chemical waste disposal when there's a perfectly good river right there next to your factory. So over the decades, C8 spread from the rivers into farms, into tap water, into the animals that we eat, and ultimately into us.
Yeah, so as I said earlier, this was all done on purpose, right? They knew this, right?
To where today, 99.7% of Americans have C8 in their bloodstream, with C8 being linked to at least 6 diseases, including testicular cancer and kidney cancer. So how did an obscure chemical company get into the bloodstream of nearly every single American? And most importantly, how did they get away with it? Just asking for a friend. This is how DuPont poisoned the world.
Oh. Well, good thing it's Teflon.
Even burned food won't stick to Teflon, so it's always easy to clean. Cookware never needs scouring. If it has DuPont, Teflon.
Out of chemical research come the thousands of products that contribute to better living. The DuPont Company, maker of better things for better living.
DuPont started in 1802 in Delaware. It was the brainchild of a French-American chemist and industrialist named Irénée Dupont de Nemours.
Irénée Dupont de Nemours.
Okay, not bad. I can't get the sound, but close enough. And DuPont started out as a gunpowder mill and production company out of all things. You had a lot of business supplying the wars that broke out throughout the 19th century. By the time the American Civil War hit, DuPont was the biggest supplier of gunpowder to the US military. So DuPont started out as war profiteers, which if you've seen our war profiteer videos, you know that this can be a very lucrative business to be in. Ironically enough, the founder of DuPont came to America to escape the French Revolution. But it was never enough. You lived and breathed innovation, which led to the development of hundreds of different chemicals and materials over the years. Kevlar used in bulletproof armor today, Lycra, nylon, all these revolutionary materials that would go on to change the world were all made by DuPont.
Even your carpeting.
And DuPont makes all that.
But something was missing. So you started buying up all the gunpowder businesses you could find. It was so extreme that by 1912, your shopping spree caught the government's attention because you started turning the gunpowder business into your own monopoly. And as soon as you were declared a monopoly, you were ordered to divest from the industry. And your age of controlling the gunpowder business was over. Without the cash cow that was gunpowder, you needed something else to bring in revenue. And since DuPont were already experts at chemistry, you got involved in almost every chemical-related industry in the book. But everything changed in 1938. The world was on the verge of World War II, and Dr. Plunkett, whom we talked about earlier, accidentally discovers Teflon. Why don't most people know about this dark side of DuPont? Because DuPont is a master at branding. However, designing a profitable brand can be really difficult and expensive. Luckily today, there's a one-stop shop for all your graphic design and branding needs. And that one-stop shop is Canva. Canva allows you to make these amazing professional-looking Instagram stories, YouTube thumbnails, YouTube intro.
Right, real quick. So it's about a 24-minute video. We're not gonna watch this whole thing, all right? But this is getting into the history, of the DuPont and the creation of plastic, the chemicals, everything that's killing everybody right now, man. That's making everybody sick, cancer, right? So real quick, I want to get this. This is Psalms 36. Okay. This is Psalms 36:1. It says, the transgression of the wicked saved within my heart, that there is no fear of Yahweh Shem El Shah before his eyes. For he flattered himself in his own eyes until his iniquity be found to be hateful, right? The point, it says, the words of his mouth are iniquity and deceit. He have left off to be wise. He have left off to be wise and to do good, all right? So, as we brought out earlier in Habakkuk 2 and 5, you know, his spirit is not upright in him. He's left off to do wise and to do good, right? It says he devised mischief upon his bed, and it says he setteth himself in a way that is not good. He abhorreth not evil, all right? All of his agendas and plans are nothing but wicked, you know. And there was some material I was reading earlier. I thought I had it pulled up here. There was pretty much a movie called, I think it was called like The Dark Side or something like that. And it goes into like how the DuPont family knew exactly what they were doing by creating these chemicals, the Teflon and the plastics, and dumping the chemicals in the water and putting it in the food. This was all done intentionally, man. All right. Once again, he is the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? Here's another one. Right. And you can go back and watch that video. All right. It gives you the history, you know. But it says, this is Micah 2:1, and it reads, it says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it is in the power of their hands. Right? The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Okay, they have the power to do these things. And as we read earlier, right, in the article, they exposed millions of Americans to these toxic forever chemicals, and they've gotten away. They didn't have to face any repercussions. Right? It says, going back, Micah 2:2, it says, and they cover fields and take them by violence, and houses and take them away. So they oppress a man in his house, even a man in his own heritage. Right? That's what these Edomites do. They're a nation of oppressors and destroyers. Right? It says, therefore thus saith the Lord, Yahweh Shem El Shah, behold, against this family do I devise an evil, from which you shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. So now, as we're in that time where the scriptures tell us that all things that are done in the dark would eventually come to the light, we're in the time of what are the exposure. Okay, everything is being revealed in this time, as the scriptures say. It says, in that day shall one take up a parable against you and lament with a doleful lamentation, right? And that's what the earth is doing right now, is crying out against the Edomite. You know, he's being exposed and revealed. It says, and say we be utterly spoiled. He have changed the portion of my people, how he have removed it from me, turning away he have divided our fields, right? So that's the point, man. Because we're being ruled over by an unwise king. Sirach, or Ecclesiastes chapter 10, verse 3, it says, an unwise king destroyeth his people. All right. And that's what's been going on, dealing with these forever chemicals, these toxins. Right. There's been a heavy increase of cancer lately, man. Right. People are dying everywhere. You had the jump shot that people took. Right. So this is the time of heavy death that's going out, man. But it's all happening, you know, through the food supply, man. So this stuff is no joke. You know, I just wanted to put that out there. Matter of fact, we'll play a little bit more. Let's see what else is in here, and then we'll wrap it up.
Animations, slide decks, desktop wallpapers, infographics, even full-blown videos. It's honestly pretty insane how much you can do. Canva has thousands of easy-to-use customizable templates made by professional designers. Stuff that actually
better things for better living through chemistry. Nearly everything in our daily lives is improved by chemistry, from transportation to the clothes we wear. Chemistry helps bring us better food, makes our homes more beautiful, more comfortable, helps protect our health, and adds to the enjoyment of our leisure time.
Teflon is made using a chemical called C8, also known as PFOA, or this long word. Being that it repels water, oil, stains, and can withstand a lot of heat, Teflon was perfect to coat the tanks and military vehicles the army was going to need for World War II. Instead of rain, mud, and the elements damaging and corroding tanks over time, it would simply slide off the surface if it was coated in Teflon. The C8 in Teflon was important to keep the material from clumping while it was being applied. And at the same time, C8 or PFOA was seen as completely safe. This new wonder material could change the world. But there was a problem. Teflon production in the 1940s was expensive. So expensive that making everyday items like pans or rain jackets was unthinkable. So to make enough Teflon to meet the growing demand, while keeping expenses as low as possible, you would need an affordable source of C8s. And that's where 3M came in. Around the same time, a French engineer named Marc Gregar had the idea of coating all his fishing gear in Teflon to keep it from getting tangled. No one really knows if this ever worked, because at the exact same time, his wife had an even better idea that took the spotlight. Teflon coated pans and pots. Cooking equipment that wouldn't need to be scrubbed or soaked to get clean. People could just wipe the food off with a damp cloth. And so Teflon pans were born, and it would change the course of the food industry forever.
Yeah, so these are the same chemicals that are pretty much, destroying the world. Proverbs 29:2. And it reads, it says, when the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice, but when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And this is why the earth is in a state of mourning, the state of death, destruction, all right? Fading away, as we read in Isaiah 24, So that's pretty much the point. I'll leave it there. You can go back and watch this lesson on your own time, dealing with Esau. He is the devil. Just wanted to put this out here. All this madness. So this is truly hell, and this is why we got to get delivered the hell out of Babylon the Great, which is America, man. We need Yahushua badly, man. Because if the Lord didn't speed up the days for the very elect, no flesh would be saved, So that's pretty much the point. I pray this lesson was edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushua Bahasham Rakakwadash, and double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth, and double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring. A Shalom.